I'm Linda Dunn with Long Life Yoga. This is Bands, Brains, and Balance. We're going to be using a resistance band, and you should have a chair with no arms, preferably on a non-skid surface. So let's begin. We're going to start right away by taking our band and sitting comfortably in the chair. Make sure that you have a nice wide base of support so that you're feeling stable here. All right, and we're going to start with some warm-ups. So let's begin by reaching forward. See that your band is a little wider than shoulder width and gripping just a nice light grip. You don't really have to grip too much on the band. We're going to reach it up overhead and we're going to stretch and lift. Have the shoulders relax down. Our abdominal muscles are gently drawn in, so we support the lower back. And then we're going to start to reach forward with the band. As we're reaching forward, we can let the spine round as we lower down the arms and the band to the legs. And then reaching forward, really engage those abs, coming up, lifting the band up and overhead. Inhaling, and with the exhale, we're going to reach forward and over. And we're going to continue with this a few times so that we're just warming up the entire torso and the arms. Use your breath so that you're inhaling up and exhaling over. When you're coming up, be sure and engage the abdominal muscles and maybe reaching back even a little bit more each time, so you get a really good stretch to the arms. Always come out in advance. If you need to, you can always hop back in when you're ready. You might be starting to feel those arms warming up right now. Maybe you can feel the back warming up and the entire spine starting to loosen. And just a few more times. If you want to give yourself a little extra here, as your band is reaching forward and down, you can press the band into the shins and give your arms just a little bit of extra isometric action there. One more time. Slow, controlled movements. And we'll lower the band down. Good. So let's just roll the shoulders a little bit. Let the elbows float away from the body. And then reverse direction. So just moving the shoulders to the full range of motion here. All right, you can wiggle the fingers if you want to. Move the wrists around. Do that at any time if the gripping gets to be too much with the band. All right, let's bring our awareness to the neck, and we'll do a little bit of some neck roll so that we can let go of any tension in the neck. So we're going to tuck the chin in just slightly. Let's have the arms relaxed alongside the body. We're sitting tall, chest is open and expanding through the top of the chest. And then let's start to lower the chin down, tucking the chin down and under. So with that, we can feel a good stretch to the back of the neck by just letting the weight of the head draw that chin down and under even a little bit more. Taking one nice deep breath here. And then start to slowly roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And as it reaches there, you can gently draw down on that left shoulder to get a good stretch to the side of the neck. And then rolling the chin down to the center of the chest and rolling left ear over towards the left shoulder and then gently drawing down on that right shoulder. Taking a nice deep breath here, just enjoying that stretch to the side of the neck. And then continue with slow, smooth half circles. Letting go of any tightness, any tension in the neck. Next time that the chin rolls down to the center of the chest, then begin to slowly lift the head back up. Good. So we'll come into our seated mountain pose. And seated mountain pose is our neutral position. So we'll just pay attention first to the soles of the feet. So if you have shoes on, you can just imagine the soles of your feet sinking into the earth, establishing that connection to the ground, feeling secure and stable. We want to have the ankles aligned with the knees. So you can check that and see if you have alignment there. Knees are lined with the hips. So in other words, the legs are about hip width apart. We have a extending upward sensation from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. So we're lifting. Chin is slightly tucked in. The shoulders are back and down. So we're expanding through the chest and opening here. Our abdominals are gently drawn in to contract and have a little bit of some activation here to our core. The fingers are pointing down. The palms can be slightly forward. And this is our seated mountain pose. So if you need to come into a resting pose, you can maybe think of the seated mountain pose as a neutral position to come into. Do some deep breathing, some deep diaphragmatic breathing if you need to take a moment or two in between our repetitions. All right? So now let's take our band again. And reach the arms forward, palms are facing down. Our arms are about shoulder width, and we're going to reach the arms up overhead. And again, our shoulders are relaxed down, chin about parallel to the ground. And we're going to start to do some side stretches. So inhale and lengthen through the spine, abs are pulled in. Exhale and to your right. And so just a little bit of a side stretch using our breath, inhaling up and exhaling over. So we'll start to warm up the core with these side stretches and going just as deep as you want to. We're going to transition here so that now the next time that you're leaning over to the side, we're going to hold that for 2 full deep breaths for some core strengthening. Make sure that your abs are really engaged. And coming up, inhaling up, and we'll exhale to the other side. 2 nice deep breaths here. Really feeling that core. We're strengthening and breathing and inhaling, coming back up. Good. We're going to keep our arms up overhead now. And bring your left arm straight up. That palm is facing forward. And we're going to start to reach down with the other arm. So that right arm is just pulling that band down. We want to have some good resistance here. So we might feel this in the shoulder. And we are strengthening right now that right rotator cuff. You might feel that action there. Slow, controlled movements. We're just going to go for 5 more. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we're going to switch arms. Left arm up, right arm stretches that band over to the side and down. And keep going here. We want to do about 10 repetitions. And we're going to go for 5 more. That might make about 10. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. All right, let's let the arms take a little rest. So you can place your band on top of your legs. We can wiggle out the fingers, move the wrists a little bit. Take whatever movement feels good for your arms. All right, let's let our arms take a rest, and we'll bring our awareness now to our legs. And we'll do a little bit of some stretching and stretch out the hamstrings, and you might feel this in the low back too. So let's start with the right leg. We're going to stretch that right leg out so the foot is resting on the heel. We're going to keep the back flat as we inhale, lengthen up through the spine, and exhale, begin to hinge forward. We're hinging from the hips so that we keep that length through the spine. We're going to hold this for a moment. We don't want to go too deep into this forward fold. So we just want to come to our point where we feel a gentle resistance. All right, so you might feel that in the low back, maybe in the hamstrings, maybe the calves, maybe all of the above. See if you can spread your toes wide open so they're splayed nice and wide. One more full deep breath. And with your next inhale, coming upright. And we'll slide that leg in. And now the left leg slides out onto the heel. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, begin to hinge forward. We start with a flat back so we can have that length through the spine. Taking a few moments here, see if you can splay your toes wide open. If they don't want to splay quite yet, maybe with a little more practice, you can get some more mobility in the toes. All right, so we're going to prepare to make our way up. With your next inhale, slowly coming back upright. Good, and we will slide that leg in. Excellent. So we're going to do a little bit of some core strengthening here, and let's take our band, and we're really not using our arms much here, but we're going to just use our band for some leverage. So we're going to walk forward to the edge of the seat, but make sure that you walk your feet forward a little bit too so you maintain that good base of support. All right, so now our abs are really engaged. We want to make sure that we keep those abs engaged by pulling them in firmly. And then, but we want to keep that breath flowing. And as we have our abs engaged here, see if you can feel the breath flowing now, expanding through the middle of the lungs. So the middle lobes of the lungs and the upper lobes, all right, so that we can keep that ab area really nice and taut. Now we're going to keep our back flat. So straight spine, but we're just tilting back. We're going to tilt back until we can feel the upper back resting to the back of the chair. Our arms are in close to the body, and we're just going to hold on to that band lightly. Now imagine that there's a string attached to the navel, and it's going to just pull you upright. So as we continue with this, we're leaning back, chin tucked slightly in, and coming back upright. It's the abs that are doing this work for us. So no other part of the body. We're just using our arms here for a little bit of leverage. Now, as you continue, maybe you don't need to have your back touching the back of the chair. Maybe as you're leaning back, you can come until you just about can sense that you're there, and then come back upright. Keep breathing. We don't want to hold the breath. Sometimes it's tempting to do that if we're concentrating on another body part. So we keep the breath flowing, and we're strengthening our core here. And now if you want to put a little extra into this, you can lift one leg as you're lowering back and return the leg down as you sit up, and then other leg. It adds a little bit more weight to the core to work with. And now, if you want to take it to the next level up, then you can reach the arms up overhead and then continue. So if you want to engage the legs and the arms, we'll continue with this, but be where you are and not where you think you should be if you're not ready for that next part yet. It's perfectly fine to go with that first level that we started at. So if you have your arms up overhead, we are engaging the deep abdominal muscles here. And so we want to go just for a few more, but again, just a reminder to always come out when you need to. If you want to take it even to the next level, you could Lift your leg straight out when you're leaning back and lowering it back. And maybe coordinating with the breath. This is almost a little bit of some brain fitness here. But you can inhale back, exhale upright. Excellent work. All right, so we are going to slow down now and let our abdominals take a little rest. Let's place the band on top of the legs. We'll just take a moment here and notice where you're feeling. Maybe you feel some energy flowing through the body after that one. So in order to give our abdominals a little rest here, let's return back to our legs. And we're going to use our band. So let's take the band. If you have a long band, that will work best. We're going to step on the band with the right foot. All right, and then we're going to lift that leg so it's straight out. If your leg muscles are really tight, the leg might need to be bent, and that's fine. So otherwise, we're going to clasp the band. We're going to draw our arms in close to the body. And we want to have good resistance right now on that band. And we're going to start to push with that foot. We want to have the band at the ball of the foot. So if you need to readjust that at any time, if it's slipping, then do that. If this is pretty difficult for you, see if you can maybe lean back just a little bit. So we are working with our core here, but we really want to bring our awareness to the quadricep. So we want to have that thigh and the glute doing this work for us. Our arms are passive, they're just holding on to that band. But if you find, hey, maybe I could use a little bit more resistance, just walk the hands up and clasp the band a little closer to the foot so that you can tighten that band up. All right, good work, everyone. And so we're going to keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. We're going to push, push, push. Good. Now we're going to take that band with the right arm. That arm is straight out, and you can rest the other hand on your lap, and we're going to open that leg wide open out to the side, and we're going to look over to that outstretched hand. So we get a little bit of a spinal twist here, and then we'll return back. And then just the leg. So we're going to open that leg wide open, return it back, and then one more time, wide open, and then we'll return it. Clasp the band with both hands. We're going to do just one more set, really strengthening those leg muscles now. You might also feel this in the core. All right, so we're breathing and we're just pushing. We want to have this feel like it's really pushing pretty firmly. So thick and gooey pushing. We're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Woo! All right, excellent. Let's switch legs now, but if you need to, you can wiggle fingers around a little bit, move the wrists if you need to. And then let's prepare for the other side. So we're going to step on that band with the ball of the foot, sitting tall, shoulders are relaxed, chest is open, and we're going to stretch that leg out so it's straight out in front, or knee bent if you need to. We want to get a good grip on that band. Bring the arms in close to the body. The band is really taut here. Abs are pulled in, and we're going to push and push. Make sure that you have good controlled movements on the way out and on the way in. You might start to feel this in that quadricep, so we are strengthening and toning the thighs here. All right, and we're going to go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take that arm, that's the same arm as the leg, so your left arm if your left leg is out, and we're going to open that leg wide open out to the side. Other arm reaches out, and then we're going to turn to look to those outstretched fingers. Spine is tall, little bit of a spinal twist here, and then return back to center. Good. And we're going to take that band, and now we're just going to open without that arm out, closing, Opening. Maybe you can open up a little bit wider this time. And then one more time. Good. All right. And now we'll take the band in both hands and we're going to do one more set. All right. So our arms are tucked in close to the body and we're pushing and pushing. Really good resistance here. And pushing. You're going to go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Woo! Let's lower that band down, lower the leg down. Good. And now take the band, place it on top of your legs, and we're going to let our legs take a little rest here. I can feel some heat generating in my body, so you might start to get warmed up too. So we're going to let the legs rest and we're going to come to our arms now for some arm strengthening. Take your band and we're going to bring it behind us. And we're going to place it up right underneath the armpits. Okay, so it's up close. And then we're going to clasp the band here. Our palms are facing each other. And we're going to start to reach one arm forward, return it back, and then the other arm. So as we're doing this, again, we want to feel that resistance on the way out and on the way in. Working with our biceps here, those upper arm muscles are getting strengthened. Check the breath, make sure that it's flowing. Nice, even breaths. You might find that you can actually do with some more resistance. So if that's the case, then tighten that band up. Keep going. Keep going. And now we're going to transition to both arms at the same time. And we're going to do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hold on to that band now, and we're going to extend the arms out to the side without locking the elbow. So again, just make sure that you've got good resistance so that we're maximizing our time here. And you might feel this in the upper arms. And we're going to go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and this time with the last one, we're going to keep the arms stretched up, but we're not locking the elbows, and we're going to pulse those arms. So just tiny little movements. And breathing, a few nice deep breaths. We're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the arms stretched out, and for some chest flies, reaching the arms together. Inhaling, arms wide open. Exhaling, the arms closed. I know you can probably feel this right now in your upper arms. Really good strengthening and toning. And let's keep going for just a few more times now. We're doing approximately 10 repetitions for each set. And then we'll do one more set towards the end of the class so we can get 2 sets in. All right, so we're going to go just for 5 more. Keep breathing, keep the spine tall. 4, 3, 2, you're doing great. Last one, wide open, and slowly, slowly, slowly bring those arms together. Woo, good work, everyone. All right, let's release the band and place the band on top of your chair because we are going to come to standing now and do some standing balancing. If you need to take a little break and take some water and move around a little bit, that's fine. All right, so we are going to prepare for our standing balancing, and we're going to do tree pose today. To prepare for that, let's do a little bit of some hip rotations. And so coming up onto the ball of the foot of one foot, and we're going to just roll around a little bit so that heel is lifted. We're just rotating that hip around loosening that hip, bringing some mobility to it. And then to the other leg. So lifting the heel up and then just rolling around to the ball of that foot, rotating and opening the hip. So you may want to use the chair or maybe not. That's your preference, as long as you're safe and that you have it next to you in case you need it. It'll be right there for you. And I will show you how to use the chair if you'd like to. So otherwise, we'll come into our preparatory pose, which would be mountain pose, because we always want to start our balancing in a good foundation pose, all right? So take a look down at your feet. Our legs are about hip width apart and our feet are symmetrical to each other. Toes are pointing forward. We feel that groundedness through the soles of the feet connecting to the earth. We start to feel a lengthening from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. Shoulders are slightly back and down. Palms forward. Fingers are active, pointing down and splayed open. Our chin is slightly tucked in, so we have a lengthening to the back of the neck and the spine. We have a soft gaze. And it's always helpful to have your gaze affixed on an unmoving object in front of you. And that can help a lot of times with our balancing, to affix the gaze. It's called drishti in Sanskrit. All right, so now let's prepare to come into our tree pose. So let's begin. And whichever side of your chair that you're on, that will be the side that you can use your leg on that chair if you'd like. So otherwise, bring your weight onto one leg without sinking into that hip. So we don't want to have that hip collapsing. We're keeping that hip pulled up and in. And now with the other leg, you can start with a kickstand type of pose if you want to, if that works for you, so that you're resting the heel of that foot to the inner ankle of the other leg, and use your chair if you need. Now, if you're able to bring that foot up higher to the inner ledge of your calf, then you can do that. We want to be careful not to rest that foot to the inner ledge of the knee, because it's too much pressure on that kneecap. So maybe you might want to use the chair for that support of the leg, so that you can feel yourself in this tree pose without efforting too much. Another option is to use the wall to stand up against. So sometimes, depending on the day or the time of day, our balance might be different. So do what works for you so that you are safe. All right. Now, if you're using the chair with one hand, then maybe coming into half prayer. Maybe you're able to come to full prayer. And then maybe if you're able to bring that leg up so the foot is to the inner thigh, that is also another variation. And then if you want to reach the arms up overhead, maybe open the arms. So we feel like we're growing roots through the sole of that foot. Feeling the trunk of the tree is our body. The branches of the tree are our arms. Maybe they can sway in the breeze a little bit. Our fingers are like the leaves, and maybe they're rustling with the breeze. If you feel that you have good balance here and you want an extra challenge, you could look up to the sky. Taking a few more nice, even breaths. And then coming back into our mountain pose, very carefully and in reverse order. Leg comes down last. All right, ready for the other side? If you're using the chair on one side, might be very different than the other, so you might want to just turn around so you have the chair for this side, or just switch sides to your chair, whichever works for you. If you're not using the chair, that's fine too, of course. So let's prepare for the other side. Make sure that you're in your good foundation pose to start. Standing tall, you have your focal point in front of you. Shifting your weight onto the other leg, that hip is strong. Taking your time here as you begin to place your foot to wherever you can have your good balance for some deep breaths. It's okay to use that kickstand type of position if that's where you are. Bringing your arms into whatever position works for you. Keep the breath flowing. One more nice, even breath. And slowly coming out. Returning into mountain pose. Beautiful. You can come back to the chair if you want to in chair pose. So you get a little efforting here. If you prefer to come down in your usual way, then do that. Slowly coming down. All right, and taking a moment, check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. All right, so we're going to continue now, and we're going to take our band. We're going to do a little more ab work here. So let's prepare. If this gets to be too much, please take a moment and join back in when you need to. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to take the band. You can double it if you have a really long band. We're going to put it underneath the thighs. And then we're going to take a hold of the band at the ends. So we just have a light grip. Our arms are in close to the body. And we're going to come to the edge, the front edge of the chair. Walk your legs forward too so that you have a good base of support. We want to really engage our abs now so they're really strong. And you can stay as you are, but I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see what this looks like. I'm going to just demonstrate really quickly. So we're going to just tap it, and we can give ourselves a little help with the band if we need to. So we're tapping the toes. All right, so that's what we're going to do. If you feel like you could, if you need a little more space behind you, then you can turn sideways on your chair and just follow my directions. All right, so we're going to start. If you are sitting forward in your chair, make sure that you're to the front edge of your chair and our abs are really engaged. We're going to start to lean back, chin tucked in, our back is nice and straight, our chest is open, shoulders relaxed. All right, we can lift up a little bit on the band. Let's just start by tapping one toe at a time. And lightly, the less weight that you put on your feet, then the more work that the abs are doing. All right, so really strengthening here. And then let's start to do both feet at the same time. So we're just tapping, tapping, tapping. If you need to do one foot at a time, that's perfectly fine. So we're continuing both feet at the same time. And now we're going to transition to holding at the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. 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 Last one. 1, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Hold it for a little bit longer. One full deep breath. You can do it. All right, excellent. Let's lower down. Woo! Let's place the band on top of the legs. You can wiggle the fingers a little bit, move the wrists around. We'll do a little bit of a forward fold here so that we can release any pressure from the abs and the low back. So you can rest your band wherever you want to set it. And let's have the legs a little wider than hip width. And we're going to take this really easy because we've been doing a lot of core strengthening here, so we want to be gentle. So as we inhale, we'll lengthen up through the spine, and exhale, begin to hinge forward, taking it really easy. So as we hinge forward, you start to let the abdominals relax, let the low back relax. If you want to go deeper, if it's okay with your back to do this, then you can come into as much a forward fold as is safe and feels right for you to do. It's releasing any pressure that you might be feeling in the low back. Let those abdominals really release. You can let the head relax as well if your neck feels okay here. A few more nice deep breaths. And then preparing to come up, place your hand on top of your legs, and with a flat back, start to come up slowly. Engage the abdominals to protect the low back. And coming up all the way. Excellent. Let's return back into our mountain pose now for a moment. And just taking stock, let's take a moment and check in with ourselves. Notice how you're feeling. You can close the eyes for a few moments if you'd like to. And now we'll open up the eyes. And let's do a little bit of some brain-body exercise so that we can do some brain fitness, all right? So we'll use the bands for this one as well. And I like this one because we can work with strengthening and toning while we also strengthen our brain cognition, all right? So we have our band, and the band is taut. So we have some tightness here, and our arms are about shoulder width, okay? So our forearms are about parallel to the ground. Spine is tall. We're going to start to reach the right arm out to the side, and the left leg extends out. Then we return in, and now the other arm and the opposite leg. So we're going to continue with this. So we're getting a little bit of a hip opener and arm strengthening. As you continue with this, now we'll put our head into the mix by turning the head to look in the same direction that the arm is stretching out. Okay? Keep a good resistance on that band, so you're working with the arms and the back muscles. And then we're going to switch things up here so that now we're going to start to look in the same direction as the leg is stretching out. Keep one arm stationary as the other arm is stretching out. So opposite arm, opposite leg, and looking in the same direction as the leg is stretching out. And then we're going to switch this up just one more time now. So see if you can look in the same direction as the band is stretching out. And if you really want to take it to the next level, you can have your eyes looking in the opposite direction. I don't even know if I can do that. But it's fun to try. All right, everyone, let's slow it down now. You're doing great. Woo! All right, now let's come to a standstill here. We can rest the band on top of the legs, wiggle the fingers, move the arms around a little bit. All right, good, everybody. Let's take a moment here. So that was some brain fitness. And when we do these types of brain exercises, it helps to enhance our cognition. It helps us to improve our coordination and our focus. All right, and there's all sorts of different brain exercises, brain gymnastics to do. All right, so let's continue on here, and we'll take our band and we're going to do one more set of arms. Okay, so what we did before was we brought the band behind us, brought it up right underneath the arms. Okay, we have a nice grip, palms facing each other. So if your thumb was up, it would be pointing up to the ceiling. All right. There's different bands. If you have a different band with handles on it, then your hands might be different. But just try to get as comfortable as a grip as you can as you start to stretch forward with one arm and then the other. And now we're going to transition. So we're stretching out both arms at the same time. If you can get a better grip on that band, maybe you can even tighten it up a little bit for a little more resistance. Maybe your arms are feeling more pliable and able to take on a little bit more of this weight of the resistance band. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And now we're going to start to reach the band out without locking elbows. Good resistance, good control on the way out and on the way in. Sitting tall. Shoulders are relaxed as much as possible, so we don't want to have them scrunched up to the ears, in other words. All right, so shoulders relaxed down. Our chest is open. And we're going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to keep our arms stretched out, and you know where we're going with this. We're going to pulse, really getting some good strengthening here. Just going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! We're going to keep the arms stretched out for some chest flies, reaching arms forward and opening. Inhaling wide, exhaling, closing. We're almost done with this part of it, so hang in there. I know your arms might be feeling this by now. Mine are. All right, let's go just for 5, 4, 3, almost done, 2, and last one, we're going to open wide open. Woo! All right, excellent. All right, good efforting. Let's let our band just take a moment here as our arms take a moment. We'll let that band cool down. It's probably sizzling by now. So let's shake out the arms a little bit, move them around. All right, so let's do a little bit now with our triceps. So we've been working quite a bit with our deltoids, the biceps, and now we want to work on our deltoids. So before we do that, we'll kind of just do a little bit with our shoulders. We don't want to get our shoulders stiff, so we're going to roll the shoulders around a few times in each direction. All right, good. All right, so we're going to take our band and we are going to pin that band down with our left hand to the left hip. And we're going to take the other end with the right hand, just trying to get a good grip here, and we're going to reach that band forward. So it's out to the side at a diagonal. So your palm is kind of facing down and back. That's the angle that we want of the arm. And so as we continue with this, we are really feeling that resistance now in the band, returning and extending. So our tricep is doing this work for us to a great extent. We don't want to think of the elbow joint or the shoulder as doing most of this work. So our focus is on that tricep. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stretch and we're going to just pulse a few times. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Ah, all right. One more side. So pin that right hand down now to the hip. Take that other arm. We have a good clasp on that bend. We got some resistance already. And we're going to stretch that arm out to up and out at a diagonal. And so just the elbows acting as a hinge. But again, our full awareness here is to that tricep. Really strengthening that upper arm. The back of that arm is the tricep, and we're going to keep going. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stretch that, and we're going to pulse, 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 pulse. Keep going just a few more times. All right, excellent. Let's lower the band down onto the legs, and let's stretch out the arms now, because we've been doing a lot with our arms. So let's stretch out by taking the right arm, bringing up and back behind you, and then we'll take the other hand, and then we're going to just push that arm up until that hand slides down the back, and then we're going to sort of make a box out of our arms. If this doesn't work for you, maybe if you have some shoulder challenges and that just doesn't work, it's okay. You can maybe just stretch the arm across the chest like that. So we're kind of leaning back into the arms. So we feel that tricep lengthening here. And then we're going to do a few side stretches. All right, so leaning over to one side, coming up to the other side. We'll inhale up, exhale over, inhale up, exhale over, and coming back up now. Release that arm across the chest. Try not to have it right under the neck. We want it more just upper chest, and either the hand clasping that forearm or forearm to forearm. And then we're going to gently stretch that shoulder so that we get a good stretch there, and then looking to those outstretched fingers so we get a good stretch to the neck as well. One more even breath here, and then we'll release, and other side. Hand to the back. Gently push that arm up so that that hand slides down the back a little bit more. We're going to make a box with those arms to what extent that you can. Lean into the arms a little bit, feeling that stretch to the tricep. We'll inhale and lengthen through the spine. Exhale for a little side stretch. Inhaling back up. Exhaling over. One more time to each side. Good, and now let's release the arms down. Can roll out the shoulders again, a few times in each direction. All right, excellent. We're going to do a little bit more ab work, and we're going to incorporate brain fitness along with it. So place your band to the back of the chair and slide forward towards the front edge of your seat, walking your feet forward a little bit too. And then we're going to lean back so that the upper back is resting to the chair. So abs are really engaged here, and our back is flat. It's just at an angle. All right, so think of like a steel rod in the spine. All right, so we want to keep that spine supported, and abs are really engaged. Start to stretch out one leg and then the other leg. Adjust yourself on your chair if you need to so that you can hold yourself upright. See if you can maybe move away from the chair without resting your back up against the chair if possible. Now we're going to start to do some scissoring with the legs. So the legs are scissoring, and then we're going to reach out one arm and then the other arm, and we're going to start to scissor the arms And we're matching the legs so that if the right leg is crossing on top, then the right arm is crossing on top. All right? So we're just going to do this a few times. So we're really strengthening here our core and working with some brain fitness to coordinating the brain and the body. Now, the next level of this is to keep the legs moving as they are, but switch the motion of the arms so that it would be the opposite arm on top. So see if you can make that work. It's okay to slow down or even stop to get it there. We're only going to do this just for a few more seconds. I was going to say minutes, but that would be too long. All right. Woo, let's slow down. Let's lower the feet down. Excellent work. All right. I think that we should take a forward fold, and we'll close class with a forward fold. And please, if the forward folds are not good for your low back, then just sit back in your chair and bring the awareness to the breath and let yourself slow down like that. Otherwise, I will lead us into a forward fold. And if you want to make this a relaxing forward fold or a restorative type of forward fold, you can take a cushion, place it on top of your legs, and let yourself kind of just lean over that cushion. If you don't have a cushion handy, then you can have your legs wide. And just as we did before with the forward fold, we'll do this again, but we'll take a little bit more time. So we'll start by inhaling and lengthening through the spine, and exhaling, begin to hinge forward. As you're hinging forward, allow for the body to adjust to this change, taking some time here. Let the low back release. Let the abdominal muscles release. And then if it's appropriate for you to go deeper, if it feels right for you and feels good, you can bring the hands down. If your hands don't touch the ground, then it's best to keep them resting on your legs. But otherwise, if you can bring fingertips or maybe the hands flat down, coming only as deep as feels right for you. And then if you want to let the head lower down, let the abdominals release. And we'll take a few moments here. We'll prepare to come up very carefully and very slowly. We'll bring the hands to the tops of the legs. Our abdominals are engaged so that we can support the low back, and coming up very, very slowly. When you've come up all the way, you can sit back into your chair. Take a few moments here. You can close the eyes. Bringing the awareness to the breath. And at the sound of the bell, we'll take a few moments of silence, and I'll bring us back at the second sound of the bell. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe. May we be well in body and mind. May we be at ease and happy. May we be at peace and free. And now begin to take in deeper breaths. Begin to wiggle toes and fingers. Moving wrists and ankles. And taking in larger movements as your eyes open. If you want a full body stretch, reaching the legs out, reaching the arms up overhead, and breathing in health and wellness, love and light. I hope that you have a wonderfully peaceful rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.